Looking for a fast-charging, ultra-responsive stylus for your iPad? Meet the 2X Fast Charge Active Stylus Pen, designed for 2018 to 2025 Apple iPads. Take your creativity and productivity to the next level. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Welcome to Legends of Pitt, where we dive into the fascinating world of Brad Pitt's early days as a young Hollywood heartthrob. You might expect him to be all smiles and charm, but little do you know that this charming leading man had a bit of an edge when it came to dealing with comparisons. So let's take a trip back in time to 1996, when Brad Pitt was on top of the world after his breakout roles in Thelma Louise, A River Runs Through It, and Interview with the Vampire. He was the ultimate Hollywood heartthrob, and people couldn't get enough of him. But as we all know, when you're at the peak of your fame, comparisons can be a double-edged sword. Pitt himself wasn't too fond of being compared to someone who had tragically passed away in their early 20s, James Dean. In an interview with Tiger Beat magazine back then, he was asked about the similarities between him and the star of Rebel Without a Cause, and his response was quite candid. He said, "I don't know why you'd want to pattern your life after someone who's not a survivor." Now, you might think that Pitt's comment was just a way of deflecting attention, but what we have to consider here is the context. Dean died at just 24 years old, and his death has become this symbol of the live fast, die young attitude. And for someone like Pitt, who had already achieved so much by the time he was in his mid-20s, that's a pretty tough comparison. It's interesting to note that Pitt himself wasn't too keen on being compared to Dean. In fact, he mentioned other actors he admired like Robert Redford, Marlon Brando, Jack Nicholson, and Mickey Rourke, who represented the kind of masculinity he aspired to embody in his own career. He wanted to be seen as a man who stood up for his principles, rather than just being a pretty face. But let's be real, Pitt's comment about Dean does come across as a bit harsh, even dismissive. It's one thing to want to distance yourself from someone's legacy, but another thing entirely to make light of their tragic death. Hopefully, over the years, Pitt has matured and would approach this topic with more empathy if asked again. And there you have it, the untold story of how Brad Pitt handled comparisons in his early days as a Hollywood superstar. Join us next time on Legends of Pitt for more fascinating tales from the highs and lows of Tinseltown's golden era.